Tonight on Cronkite News, legislators take a major step towards repealing a near-total ban on abortion in Arizona.
Plus, a new report out on the quality of Arizona's air. Find out what's contributing to those hazy days.
And Queen Creek High School's beach volleyball, their quest for an undefeated season and state title. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Zariah Cole.
And I'm Denson Cortez. Thank you for joining us.
We begin with big news at the state capitol today. A House vote to repeal the near-total abortion ban in Arizona.
Cronkite News reporter Lauren Bly was at the Capitol for the vote. She joins us now from the newsroom. Lauren.
Thanks, Denson. Today, the State House passed a bill to repeal the 1864 near-total abortion ban that was upheld by the Arizona Supreme Court earlier this month.
Protesters lined up to fill the gallery of the House ahead of today's vote. This is the third time in 3 weeks that lawmakers have tried to bring the bill to the floor, and Democrats say they delivered.
We repealed the 1864 abhorrent abortion ban, a ban that was put in place before women could vote, before when slavery was still legal.
3 Republicans joined Democrats to pass the measure 32-28. Most Republicans who spoke on the floor look at this as a lost battle.
Proud of my Republican caucus that has fought this off as long as it has. We are dealing with an issue that I would not wish on any one individual in this world to have to choose on.
They believe that Arizonans want some abortion restrictions.
Arizonans do not want abortion on demand. Partial birth abortions, abortions for children without parental consent, or dangerous abortions that jeopardize the health of pregnant women and their children.
At the end of today's session, at least one Republican who voted with the Democrats was stripped of a committee assignment.
Other media outlets are reporting the Senate won't take up the measure until next week. Then it has to go to the governor, who is expected to sign it. In the newsroom, Lauren Bly, Cronkite News.
Meanwhile, the U.S. Supreme Court heard from the Biden administration's challenge to Idaho's strict abortion ban. Their decision could possibly determine whether doctors can perform abortions on pregnant women during emergencies. Federal law requires hospitals to offer abortions if necessary. DOJ attorneys believe it even applies to states like Idaho that completely ban abortions. In response of the complete ban, the Biden administration sued Idaho. The High Court is expected to hand down its ruling by the end of June. Idaho House Minority Leader Ilana Rubel spoke about the issue on Capitol Hill.
We are in a 5-alarm crisis in Idaho, and our majority party leadership is in this building right now, and they are only interested in making the problem worse by fighting the protections we had under EMTALA. The status quo in which pregnant women are denied the emergency stabilizing care that is guaranteed to every other American is not acceptable, and we do not believe it's constitutional.
Today, President Biden signed a $95 billion aid package for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. The U.S. Senate passed the bill yesterday with bipartisan support. Arizona U.S. Senator Mark Kelly voted in favor of the aid and said afterward that it sends a clear message to Vladimir Putin that the United States stands by its allies. The aid package also includes a bill that could potentially ban the popular app TikTok in the United States. When you walk out the door in Arizona, you could be exposing yourself to harmful pollutants, including ozone and fine particulate matter.
Cronkite News reporter Leslie Chapman joins us to talk about a new report that puts Arizona near the top when it comes to bad air.
That's right. Maricopa County is the 7th most polluted place to live, according to the 2024 State of the Air report by the American Lung Association. The report indicates that Phoenix is the 5th worst city for high ozone days out of 228 metropolitan areas. We also experienced more days of short-term particle pollution, ranking us as the 16th worst city in the country. As for annual particle pollution, the Phoenix Mesa area ranked as the 9th most polluted city for year-round particle pollution. So what exactly is causing Phoenix to rank so poorly? Brad Busby from the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality explains what the cause could be.
We're also uniquely situated in the West near lots of forests that will sometimes see wildfires, and lots of traffic in California and other places that sometimes transports those pollutants into Arizona. So there's multiple factors that can impact our ozone. With particulates, we're looking at wildfire impacts. We're also looking at wintertime burning, wood burning for both heat and for just celebratory aspects around the holidays, as well as fireworks can also contribute to the particulates we see.
According to the report, 4 Arizona counties received failing grades for the number of high ozone days. And the levels of ozone and particle pollution puts all residents at risk, particularly people of color, those under the age of 18, and those 65 years or older. In the newsroom, Leslie Chapman, Cronkite News.
In Tennessee, a bill is on its way to become a law that will let teachers carry guns in schools.
However, this is nothing new to a lot of states in the U.S. Most states already have some kind of statute along those lines, and the list is continuing to grow.
Many opponents worry it could be dangerous for a school setting, while supporters say they want a way to stop school shooters quickly. However, a lot of states already have some laws allowing armed educators. According to Giffords Law Center, firearms are prohibited on school grounds unless approved by the school or a person who is authorized by the state to carry a firearm.
Coming up next, the desert is heating up, meaning more time for outdoor activities.
But humans won't be the only ones enjoying the warm weather.
Find out what dangers you should be looking for when out in the desert when we come back.
I'm Max Williams from the Cronkite Weather Center, and April showers are making their way through the state of Arizona. To find out how that affects this week's temperatures, tune into my full forecast coming up later on in the show.
What Cronkite News means to me is opportunity.
We do news right at Cronkite News, serving a community ethically, honestly, and truthfully.
And we can provide a necessarily different angle, different voice for those people that really need it.
The students, they have a lot of passion for journalism.
I get to do a lot of stories about the Hispanic community.
And we have access to cover all of these sorts of events and get media coverage of all these different personalities and athletes, and that's just a huge thing.
But it's also a chance for people here to be humanized. Individuals of all walks of life.
Cronkite News will help take the next generation of journalists onto their next careers.
I am old enough to remember Walter Cronkite.
We're putting a lot of pride on his name because we are practicing a lot of the things that he did.
I think he'd be smiling from ear to ear.
I.
We are Cronkite.
The Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication's Phoenix Sports Bureau provides students with hands-on learning experiences and opportunities in sports journalism. From covering local high schools, colleges, and the pros, students get the opportunity to go live from our Facebook shows covering local, collegiate, and pro sports in the Valley. From digital reporting, broadcast, social media, and producing, there's opportunities for all. For more, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Warm weather in the Valley has people spending a lot of time outdoors, but they're not the only ones who are enjoying the warmer temperatures. It's that time of year to be extra alert when you're outside.
You may hear more of this sound when you're outdoors this time of year. It's a good reminder that you are not alone out here in the desert.
We get consistent temperatures in the valley above 80 to 85 degrees or so. We start to see a dramatic increase in the number of encounters between snakes and people who are out in the territory in which snakes are. Sometimes that could be in your home, but also out in just kind of rural areas.
Experts say rattlesnakes are most active from April to October in Arizona. In the winter, they brumate underground, meaning they don't totally hibernate, but they sleep to avoid freezing temperatures.
It's just paying attention to your surroundings. When you know you're in the desert or at the edge of the desert and rattlesnakes are around, just be mindful of that. Don't ever put your hands down into bushes or in spaces where you can't see where they are.
But as long as the weather is warm, the snakes will be out.
And they'll coil
And you just still let them have their space, and they'll either turn around and go the other way or go where they're going.
Experts say if you see a rattlesnake on a path, leave it alone. And if you get bitten, call 911 immediately.
I want all of these patients to present to an emergency department at one of the larger hospitals, not at a freestanding emergency department, and definitely not at urgent care. And that's because, at our facilities, we do have the ability to administer one of the two different antivenoms.
Another good rule to think about, rattlesnakes have about a 3-foot strike zone, so try to give them a wide berth. For an average adult, taking a step back will usually put you out of harm's way.
Some helpful tips for homeowners to remember from the Phoenix Herpetological Sanctuary when you come across rattlesnakes are to remove wood piles and junk for potential homes for snakes and their prey, and keep walkways clear from brush.
Back here in the valley, it's going to be a beautiful weekend to get outside.
That's because there's a big cool down headed our way. Max Williams joins us now to tell us what we can expect.
Yeah, that's right, guys. While we've been edging towards that 100-degree mark for the valley, that's not going to be the case this weekend because we've got some very cool temperatures headed our way. Now, today was pretty warm. We were in the 90s, and as we head into tonight's forecast, we can see some cooler temperatures dipping down into the 80s, even into the high 70s, with some decent speeds for wind. We're right around that 10-mile-per-hour range as we head into this evening, but we've also got some cooler temperatures on the way. 62 degrees is your low in Phoenix for tomorrow, and we get all the way down to just 52 degrees in Tucson down south. As we warm up throughout the day, it's only going to get up into the 80s here in the valley. 83 degrees in Phoenix, gets up to 78 down in Tucson, 55 up in the Grand Canyon, 58 in Window Rock as well. And that's going to be due to this system moving through the state of Arizona throughout the next couple of days. Some of those showers represented by the green colors are going to lead to cooler temperatures. And you can see that in the 8-day forecast. 10% chance of rain on Saturday as we're in the low 80s for the highs. And then as we move into the rest of the weekend and into next work week, we're going to work our way back into the 90s as some of those clouds get out of our way. From the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Max Williams.
I'm Riley Swenson.
And I'm Kevin Malater.
Coming up next on the Cronkite Sports Report, a look at an event that has the future of the Valley in mind.
Featuring one of the fastest growing sports in the past few years.
See how this partnership can only help continue the growth the sport has seen and how the future generations will be affected.
ASU's one and only student-run radio station, Blaze Radio, provides students with opportunities to cover a variety of topics. From music,
this is Sensei Garage,
to sports coverage,
against the Brewers in his last outing, he went
to news.
The bill also gives parents the ability to sue.
And entertainment updates. Blaze Radio offers a fun environment to gain valuable broadcast experience. To find out more, visit blazeradioonline.com.
As journalists at Cronkite News, we report on stories that matter to you by focusing on the local impact. We dig deeper and work tirelessly to keep you informed.
Live in Wickerburg.
Live in Los Angeles.
In Cleveland.
In Washington. In Louisville.
From Jerusalem.
Live in Philadelphia. From around the world to right here in Phoenix.
At Cronkite News, we report the facts and stick to the truth.
Welcome into the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Riley Swenson.
And I'm Kevin Malater. Thank you for joining us.
After an undefeated season, the Queen Creek Bulldogs are searching for their first beach volleyball state title.
Cronkite News reporter Philip Level recently spent time with the team.
Queen Creek High School is the home of a growing and improving beach volleyball program. The Bulldogs finished the regular season undefeated, and they had enough students to include a JV team for the first time. Leading this program is head coach Stephanie Pugh. She coached the Queen Creek court volleyball team for 11 seasons and has coached the beach team for 6 seasons.
Coach Pugh and Coach Dave, they're great coaches. They've been my coaches since I was like 12, so they really know me and they know the game.
A team beach volleyball match consists of 5 games. A team wins the match if at least 3 of the pairs win their games.
We tell them every pair is the most important pair. Everyone thinks, oh, the 1s are the most important or the 2s. No, every pair. 5s are just as important as our 1s.
Last year, the Bulldogs finished as runner-ups, falling short to Sandra Day O'Connor in the championship match. This year, Sandra Day are again tournament favorites. And if Queen Creek wants to win its first beach volleyball state title, they'll need to find a way to get past the Eagles.
They're a great program. Obviously, they have the reputation. We're always going to be the underdogs when Sandra Day is on top. Obviously, I believe in my girls. I believe we have the skill. We have the mental game. I really think we can go out there and beat them.
A big part of Queen Creek's undefeated run has been through the help of their top pair of LSU commit Elle Evers and sophomore Tatum Riggs. Even though it is their first season paired together, they have found success as a duo.
I love Tatum. She's awesome. I like Elle too. We had a little bit of a rough start, but we definitely, Steph gave us good talk and then we pulled it together.
No matter what happens against Sandra Day, the Bulldogs will remain proud of each other and the season that they put together. In Queen Creek, Philip Level, Cronkite News.
Queen Creek will be playing in its second consecutive championship match against Sandra Day O'Connor.
And that is tonight at 6 p.m. to determine if the Bulldogs can finish the season undefeated.
Well, speaking of playoffs, the Suns are trying to keep their hopes alive.
Yeah, Riley, Game 2 against the Minnesota Timberwolves did not go the way of the Suns. As there were hopes that after a couple days of rest between Games 1 and 2, that the Suns would bounce back. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case in Game 2, as Minnesota once again ran away with the lead, are now up 2-0 in the series.
The Suns will need to put the first 2 games behind them as they return to Arizona for Games 3 and 4. If the Suns can take care of business, then they will hit the road again.
I mean, don't count us out. It's a series for a reason. I don't think any road teams won so far. I know that doesn't have anything to do with us, but, it's just a situation that it is.
Earlier this month, the Arizona Cardinals hosted its 4th annual Girls Flag Football Camp, offering fun activities and football drills for athletes ages 6 to 12.
Cronkite Sports reporter Rebecca Daly was at the event and gives us an inside look at what makes this event draw such a crowd.
Multiple Cardinals players, cheerleaders, and even mascot Big Red showed up at Tempe Sports Complex. The event hopes to introduce and inspire young women to get into the game of football.
Today we were able to spend time with over, I'm pretty sure, 100 girls, maybe 130 girls. Had a blast with them. The games continue to grow and evolve, so the fact that we're able to have a hand in it, it's amazing.
Flag football has seen major momentum recently with the increasing participation of girls and women. The Cardinals have been big supporters in promoting the growth of youth and girls' inclusivity in football by offering events like this throughout the year.
They don't want to be excluded. We want to eliminate entries, barriers to entry. That's something that we want to make sure that we're there for the young ladies in that situation. And there was a strong desire. There was a call for it.
Arizona became one of the few states to sanction girls' flag football at the high school level in 2023. This showcase is to introduce the sport to younger girls and prepare them for that next level of competition in the future.
Camps like this, they help prepare the girls for high school level because it gets them familiar with the game. It lets them know what's going to happen, what they're going to be doing, how it is, how much fun it is, because it's a whole different kind of football.
In 2023, around 474,000 young women in the U.S. between the ages of 6 and 17 played flag football,
a massive 63% increase from 2019. The surge in participation led Arizona, plus New York and California, to sanction girls' flag as a high school sport.
That's really it, about really being introduced to the sport in that just soft, easy way. It's not a highly competitive camp or anything along those lines. It's just more of a, family fun, family friendly type of situations.
Youth participation in sports has greatly declined over the last decade. However, flag football has become one of the fastest growing youth sports in the country. In Tempe, Rebecca Daly, Cronkite News.
Flag football has been growing in the Valley the past few seasons, and the game will only continue to thrive with events like this one to inspire the next generation of girls.
Flag football will even be included in the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. It marks the first time in history the game of football in any capacity will be a part of the Olympic Games.
Moving to a little NFL draft coverage, former Hamilton Husky and Chandler native Brendan Rice had a fantastic final season on the football field at USC.
Yeah, Riley, he was incredible for the Trojans this past season, and his play has led him to hearing his name be called this weekend with the NFL draft starting tomorrow night.
Rice is expected to go in the early rounds of the draft. He had a good showing at Pro Day, and his former coach at Hamilton says his work ethic and his competitive spirit was evident back in high school, and it's his character that could make him one of the best receivers coming out for the draft this year.
He didn't worry about the number of catches. He never pouted. If his job was to block, he was a dominant run blocker. If his job was to run a route, he ran the route hard. Whether he was play side, backside, really didn't matter.
To college hockey, Arizona State is coming off a program best 24-win season and are joining the National Collegiate Hockey Conference starting this fall.
Yeah, that's right. On Tuesday, the NCHC released the conference play schedules, and several teams like Arizona State released their full schedule for the 2024-25 campaign. The Sun Devil schedule is filled with college hockey blue bloods, and it starts from the jump when they open their home slate with a 2-game series against Michigan in October. In conference play, ASU will host powerhouses like North Dakota, a team the Sun Devils beat in 2022-23, and Denver, this year's national champions. With Mullet Arena to themselves for now and a loaded conference, the Sun Devils feel ready to elevate the program to new heights.
Coach Powers has said for a long time it's the last step, right, to solidifying what this school can be, and getting it there, right? You're going to be competing year in and year out in the best conference in college hockey.
One other note, Riley, the Tucson Roadrunners might be joining the Sun Devils at Mullet Arena this upcoming season, as the team owned by former Coyotes owner Alex Morello is exploring relocation of the minor league franchise to Tempe.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. Kevin, well, that's all the time we have for today's edition of the Cronkite Sports Report.
Thank you for joining us. Now back to Zariah and Denzen.
Thank you, Riley and Kevin.
Coming up next, this hot dog is considered to be one of the best in the world, but it's not where you would expect.
When we come back, find out where the best hot dog is from and how it got its origin.
Three, 2, 1. Cronkite News. Get real professional experience in areas such as reporting, broadcast editing, and behind-the-scenes production, such as technical director and audio.
Kill the mics.
Or go out in the field and cover important local stories.
Learn and master the English language.
In a fun, welcoming atmosphere. Cronkite News. The future starts now.
What Cronkite News means to me is opportunity.
We do news right at Cronkite News, serving a community ethically, honestly, and truthfully.
And we can provide a necessarily different angle, different voice for those people that really need it.
The students, they have a lot of passion for journalism.
I get to do a lot of stories about the Hispanic community.
And we have access to cover all of these sorts of events and get media coverage of all these different personalities and athletes, and that's just a huge thing.
But it's also a chance for people here to be humanized. Individuals of all walks of life.
Cronkite News will help take the next generation of journalists onto their next careers.
I am old enough to remember Walter Cronkite.
We're putting a lot of pride on his name because we are practicing a lot of the things that he did.
I think he'd be smiling from ear to ear.
I.
We are Cronkite.
Welcome back. The Sonoran hot dog has made its way to many people around the world.
It's an adaptation of the classic American hot dog, but with unique flavors and traditions.
Known as dogos instead of hot dogs, they are larger with a sweet bun, have a bacon-wrapped sausage, and some add jalapeno sauce, stuffed chili peppers. Sounds yummy. And even guacamole, the mix of flavors and techniques that are used to have led to notable recognition from international consumers.
That's it for Cronkite News. Thank you for joining us.
And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.